All right, Janet, you're co-host now.
Thank you. No, people are so early. They're already here. I'm gonna try playing the videos. Let me know if that works.
Welcome to the University of Cincinnati. As an international student, you are a valued member of our global community here at UC.
Today, we are going to introduce you to a little bit of your home away from home, which is UC International.
So UC International
Sit, Eric. Okay. Okay.
I see that, Janet.
What did you say?
See you eating breakfast.
Yeah, I am. I basically just woke up. I'm not sure if Zoe is awake. Let me test her. Should we start letting people in? Yeah. There are like 22 of them. So do you want to have your camera on?
Yeah, sorry, I'm fixing my hair really quick. Wait, I woke up. I'll turn it on in a second.
There's an admit all button if you want to just like.
Yeah, I think I'll just like disable the waiting room at this
Yeah.
point. Good morning, everyone. We'll start in a few minutes. We ask that you mute yourself and at this time turn your camera off. Later in the Q&A sessions, we will if you have questions that you want to ask our immigration advisors or any of us, you're welcome to turn on your camera and ask. But throughout the panel sessions, we hope that you can keep yourself muted and turn your camera off. Good morning for those who just came in. We'll start in just a minute, but for today's welcome panel session, we hope that you can keep yourself muted and video off for now. At the end of the session, there will be a Q&A session where you can ask questions, and you're welcome to turn on your video and ask in real life. But you can also put it in the chat anytime, so we can answer your questions. But for now, you can have your video off and stay muted so that everyone can see who are the panelists. All right, we're at time. I think we can get started. Um, Good morning or evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Janet Chu. I work with UC International Services as a graduate assistant of the Student Services and Support team. Welcome to our UCI Services Panel Information session. We are pleased that you could join us and thrilled that you have chosen to further your education at UC. Today's session will include both pre-recorded videos and a live panel presentation. On our panel today, we have another GA, Zoe, and our immigration advisors, James and Sarah. We will answer questions regarding your immigration status and your options and rights as an international student in the US. We will connect you to campus and community resources that will keep you informed and share event and workshop details that will help you thrive at UC and feel a part of our Bearcat family. And there are some general reminders for our session today, and then I'll pass it to Zoe.
Cool. I didn't know if James and Sarah wanted to introduce themselves really quick. But I can just go ahead and go through those general reminders and then they can give an introduction after. So this will just be a general information session with opportunities for you to participate. So the first section of the information of this section will be about 30 minutes. We'll present a lot of information. So feel free to kind of sit back with your video off and just take in the information as it comes. There'll be an engaging mix of videos, but also live conversations. So please excuse any technical difficulties we might have as we switch kind of between those today. So during these informational sessions, you should be muted and your video should be off. Just to remind you again, you can save your questions for a Q&A section that we will have at the end of this presentation, but you can also put any questions in the chat at any time and we'll keep those on hand for the Q&A. So any like super specific questions you can send to the international students email, which I can also paste into the chat. And just some other buttons to go over if you're not super familiar with Zoom. In the top right-hand corner, you can switch between gallery view and speaker view. So if you want to see all participants or just the person that's speaking, you can also like zero in on the presentation too, so you can see it better. And then you can also access the Q&A on the right side of your screen. And if you lose that, you can use the buttons at the bottom, the like 3 dots to get back to that. And then you can also access the chat that way. It's like the little speech bubble. So you can use those if you have any questions for us or anything like that. If you get disconnected for any reason, we are recording these sessions, so we can provide you with those links. So if you miss any information, don't worry. You'll still be able to figure that out too. And then let's see. I think just more questions. If they don't get answered today and they don't get answered in the breakout session that follows, we do offer virtual office hours at UC International. So they are on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll remind you of those at the end of the presentation, but you can also find that on Campus Link. And just remember that a breakout session following this main presentation that might be useful to you will be effective I-9 onboarding steps and for a successful on-campus working experience. We will post a link into this session, into the chat towards the end, but we now have a video to share, so we'll start. Cool.
Welcome to the University of Cincinnati. As an international student, you are a valued member of our global community here at UC.
Today, we are going to introduce you to a little bit of your home away from home, which is UC International.
So UC International is comprised of 4 units. We have our planning department,
Study abroad,
international admissions.
and international services.
Everyone is here to help you throughout your educational journey at UC.
So let's go check in with our staff at UC International and see how they can help you along the way. UC International is on the 7th floor at Edward Center 1.
Whenever you have questions or concerns, you can always find help here.
Follow us.
And we'll go take a look.
Hello everyone, welcome to the University of Cincinnati. My name is Ron Cushing and I'm the Director of UC International Services. On behalf of our office and the entire university community, I want to welcome you to the University of Cincinnati. We are honored that you've decided to pursue your educational objectives with us, and we're going to do everything we can to ensure that your experience here is a positive one. We know that your decision to study in the United States and here at UC was made after months, if not years, of hard work, dedication, and tough decisions by you and your family. You need to understand that the challenge you are about to embark upon is going to be a difficult one, but it will also be rewarding. Our office is going to help you meet those challenges and obtain those rewards. You should know that you're joining a very large and exciting international community. You're going to be part of more than 3,000 enrolled international students from more than 100 different countries from across the world. UC International Services is responsible for making sure that you understand all the rules and regulations that you need to follow as an international student and providing you with the proper authorizations along the way. While you're studying, you're going to need to travel. Many of you are in programs that involve co-op or capstones that require work assignments during your stay. You may change your degree level or your program of study. Some of you may have dependents who need to come and be with you. There's a whole host of immigration regulations you need to follow, and we're going to make sure you understand those rules and provide you with the proper authorizations. We have highly trained staff who are available to help answer all of your questions, and we encourage you to contact us when you need help. Please make sure you address all immigration and visa questions to our office. Don't ask your friends, don't ask your college advisor or your departmental advisor. Make sure all visa and immigration questions are addressed to our staff. We also provide you with a host of programming activities during your stay here. Certainly during the first few weeks, you're going to be invited to participate in a lot of welcome and arrival activities. And then throughout your stay, we are going to provide you with opportunities to engage in programs that will help you learn about U.S. culture, the university, the city of Cincinnati, and the U.S. in general. I can assure you that the students who take advantage of those opportunities are the students that leave here with the most positive experiences. So please take advantage of those programs when you have the opportunities. So welcome to UC. We look forward to helping you obtain all of your personal and academic objectives.
As Ron mentioned, UC International is here mainly for immigration advising and student support.
Let's check in with some of our international advisors and learn from them all that we can about keeping up to date your visa.
All right. Okay, so welcome. My name is James Tenney. I'm with UC International Services. And with me today is Sarah O'Connell, one of our outstanding immigration advisors that will help you, guide you while you're here at UC. I want to repeat everything that Ron just said and welcome you to UC. This fall semester, as he said before, will be challenging, and you guys have faced a lot of challenges over the last 18 months, like the rest of the world. But we are certainly glad that you're here, or you're joining us online at the moment, and will be joining us physically at some point in the near future. If at any time you feel lost or confused in the process here in campus or in life in general, please do contact us. Our website is always there, of course, 24 hours a day, but you can always call us at 513-556-4278. Or you can send us an email at international.students@uc.edu. Or if you prefer to be more in person, come see us as well when, in person in our office. We're located in Edwards Center 1, room 7148. We always have an advisor on call or physically available, so you can meet and greet or talk to someone in person about your concerns. Typically, we provide immigration counsel, tax advice, but we're here to help you answer any of your questions.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to have you with us virtually today. Again, my name is Sarah O'Connell. I'm one of the International Services Advisors in our office, and welcome. So you'll find that most of our services start with iBearcats Global. Before arriving on campus, you've been logging in using limited services. That's when you use your M number, a PIN, and your date of birth. Now that you're actually here and enrolled in classes, you'll start using the full services option. So this is a button on the other side of the screen when you're logging in. It's where you use your UC username and password. So you're going to log in just like you do for your email, for Catalyst, and other university systems at UC. So like we've said, immigration rules can change. They can be confusing, especially during the pandemic. Things are constantly changing and adjusting depending on how things are going. So we're here today to really help make this clear, help you understand the rules specifically for fall 2021. So here are some of the key rules that we'll go over for this semester.
Okay, so first of all, enrollment. You're here to be a student, so you should be enrolled in classes. And so if you are an undergraduate student, your full-time enrollment must be at least 12 credit hours per semester. And if you're a graduate student, that must be at least 10 credit hours per semester. That helps you maintain your immigration status. Now, you can only use 3 credits, or 1 course typically, of online credit to count towards that full-time enrollment. So 3 credits towards your 12, 3 credits towards your 10 will equal full-time enrollment if you're using any online courses. You can use more online courses, but only 3 credits will count towards the full-time enrollment. Now, courses listed as in-person or PD, partially distance, count as in-person. Any courses that are listed online, or MD, mostly distance, are considered online courses. So keep that in mind as you go through your semesters here at UC, that you do need to be enrolled full-time in-person classes for the most part. Now, some of you may have some struggles over the next year or two. It takes some adjustment to the American classroom. Maybe English language is a little bit of a struggle for you. Maybe you're ill and you have a medical condition. At any time that you feel like you need to drop a class or 2 or drop some courses because you're having some struggles, please contact us before you drop your classes. If you drop your classes before you come to see us, you're going to be falling out of your immigration status, and we don't want that to happen. However, there are some reasons that the Immigration Service will allow you to drop below full-time. So log on to iBearcats Global, and there's an e-form there called Reduced Course Load. Submit that so we can verify what's going on and help you do what it is you're trying to do.
So your I-20 or DS 2019 identifies who you are and what you're doing in the US. For example, it shows which school you are studying at and what degree you are pursuing. It also tells you and our office how much time you have left to complete that degree. If you're going to change your plan, maybe you're going to change your major, your degree level, maybe you just need more time to complete your current program, or maybe you're graduating and going to transfer to a different school, you will need a new immigration document, an I-20 or DS 2019. You can do most of these things through iBearcats Global. It's really important to keep in mind, if you need more time to complete your program, you must submit an extension request to us before your document expires. That's one of the most important things to keep in mind and be aware of.
Now, travel signatures. Some of you may actually want to go home for a short while, while you're here studying, maybe during winter break, spring break, or even next summer vacation period. In order for you to come back to the US, we do need to put a travel signature on page 2 of your I-20 or page 1 of your DS 2019 if you are in J1 status. And you can get this request fulfilled through iBearcats Global. We have an e-form there called Travel Signature Request. And so as soon as you have made your travel plans and you knew you're going to travel, go ahead and submit that request. Please don't leave it to the last day or 2 days before you travel, because we may not get to your request in time, and therefore we may have to do something clever with your documents over email or through regular mail. So do plan ahead.
On-campus employment is something you may be interested in. As an F1 or J1 student, you can work on campus up to 20 hours per week in the fall and spring semesters, and more than 20 hours per week during the summer, spring, and winter break. When you've been offered an on-campus job, whether it's in a UC office or a non-UC employer such as food services on campus, please log on to iBear Global and submit the Employment Eligibility Verification/Onboarding e-form. We'll help you complete the hiring process. OPT and CPT are types of off-campus work permits. These are here to help you obtain practical experience for what you're learning about in your degree program. Most of you won't need these or won't qualify for them in your first year of academic study, but as you get further into your career, we have a lot of details about this located on our website and in iBearcats Global.
Now, of course, if you're going to start working and getting paid, you're going to encounter things called taxes, and those things are very, very fun. But even if you're not working on campus or being employed, there are some odd tax implications that you need to follow through on. The basic thing that you need to know right now is that every year, whether or not you earn any US income or not, there is going to be a tax report, which is called a tax return, that you have to file to the US government for each year you're physically present in the US as an F1 or J1 student. We will send out details on how you can do this tax report every February. So don't worry about it right now. But in February, we'll send you an email to your UC email account explaining how you can get help with doing this. It's not as difficult as it sounds. We have software and volunteers to help you with that. Now, finally, we are hopeful that everything is going to go back to normal here soon, with everything going on with the pandemic and classes and travel. But just keep in mind that if you ever have questions, please let us know. Some tips I will offer you is that before the winter break gets here, if you think you're going to travel, get your travel signature request in early. Also, get enrolled for the spring semester before you leave classes in the winter break. That way you have your classes set up and ready to go for whenever you do arrive back in January, whether you're traveling domestically, staying here in the area, or even going overseas and coming back. And finally, again, always remember these rules can change. They were changing quite regularly before the pandemic, and they can always change rapidly now during the pandemic. But if you have any questions, contact us. This is what we're here for. And most importantly, please, please read your UC email. University official business will not go to your Gmail, Yahoo account. It will only go to your UC email account. And also the fun stuff that we are doing, trips and organization fairs and events will go to your UC email account. So again, we're really excited that you're here. There's a lot of you here this year, and we're really happy about that. And if we can help you with any of your questions, let us know. Later on in this webinar, after a couple of videos and some other presentations, we will have a Q&A with myself and Sarah. And so if you're interested in participating in that, please stay tuned and continue to drop your questions in the chat. Also, those of you who are interested in the on-campus employment search aspect, we're going to have a special session here in a little bit later on this morning that you can tune into and also ask your questions as well. Thank you for your time.
The UC International website is filled with tons of resources and information about your visa, the university, and more. If you ever have a question or want to know where to go, consider our website your first stop. However, Much of the way you'll interact with our office involves using our online system, iBearcats Global. Up until this point, you've probably been using the limited services. Now you can use the full services for students and scholars to submit e-forms, make requests, and more. Sagar, an international student in engineering, was on co-op last semester. In order to do co-op, he had to get authorization for CPT. Let's hear his advice about how to work with our office to get CPT authorization.
For the CPT process, I think it has been really helpful keeping in touch with UC International. I definitely think it's a learning curve. You kind of need to understand how the CPT process works. So my first few times, I would say, I wasn't sure what to do. So what I did was I set up an appointment with the immigration officer. Within 2 days, you can get the appointment. You can go and talk to them about, any questions you have. After submitting the request on iBearcats Global, usually what I do is follow up next day with them over the phone, just calling the reception office, and they're pretty responsive. Even if there's a delay, they would let you know that we'll get to you in 2 days or 3 days, and it's been a pretty smooth process. In general, they were really helpful and friendly in answering all the questions I have. Hey, Bearcats! Welcome to UC.
In addition to the immigration services that we provide, UC International also provides a welcoming, inclusive, and safe space for international students. We can give you resources, strategies, and tools to help you accommodate to life at UC and in Cincinnati. Here's just a small example of the events that we've put on in years past.
Favorite part interacting with UC International and all the community around here was knowing someone from a country in Europe is equal to like traveling through their eyes and understanding how their country is. So that was really precious, I think.
iPhones to me is where you can make friends from around the world and also learn their experiences, share your experiences as well, along with we support and help each other along the ways. My freshman year, I wish I learned about iPhones, how I could have made all the friends I have now earlier on and all the opportunities I could have joined before as well.
I think one advice I would like to give international students would be to get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes things can be very frustrating and it could be a lot of work, but once you step out, try to learn about new things, try to learn about the culture in the US, it just starts becoming more and more beautiful, and it comes easier to like make new friends and just understand the differences we have and just embrace it together.
So, welcome back. The UC International Services team is here to provide social and academic support so that you have a holistic and positive experience at UC. Our team includes Laurie Blanton, who couldn't be with us today, and 3 graduate assistants. We will communicate with you through Instagram, Facebook, Campus Link, and our weekly newsletter. If you aren't following us on social media, we encourage you to start today. Our handles on both social media is at UC IPEL. The weekly newsletter will show up in your UC inbox on every Tuesday. Lori oversees mailing the newsletter. It will include immigration updates, UCI event listings, campus and community announcements, and resources. You should read it thoroughly each week. All events and workshops or meetups this fall may be in any format depending on the COVID situation. We'll be offering live or synchronous events and pre-recorded or asynchronous events that you can view at your leisure. We hope that through participating in these events, workshops, or meetups, you'll begin to feel connected to our campus community and informed about all of the opportunities that you can take. Links to access these events and resources will again be shared via our social media, campus link, and our weekly newsletter. As mentioned in the video, our student group, the International Partners and Leaders, IPALs, which includes both domestic and international students, grads and undergrads, will be on hand at all of these events to extend a peer-to-peer welcome and available for you to ask any questions that you have. Reach out to them, they're really great resources. You should be able to identify them by their IPALS t-shirt in navy and their smiling faces. If you want to meet some of the new friends, the IPALS will be hosting a welcome event, Soccer and Snow Cones, this Sunday at 11 a.m. at Shickley Lawn. UC International will also be hosting a weekly English conversation group every Thursday evening that you might like to attend. It is a casual opportunity to improve and practice English language skills or add as a conversation partner to help others in a fun virtual space. Information about how you can join the group will appear in the newsletter. It's another good way to meet new people. And now I'll pass it to Zoe.
Cool, thanks, Janet. So I just dropped in the chat to some more event details. If you are interested in the ESL conversation group, you can let me know and I can put you in contact to get the links and everything. That will be tonight too, if you're interested. But I also would just like to encourage all of you to really reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. We are here to help you, and I do want to remind you just how to get in touch. So our office is open Monday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's in Edwards Center 1, so it's near the baseball field, and that'll be on the 7th floor, Suite 7148. You can also call 513-556-4278 or email us at international.students@uc.edu. This will also be in the chat if you have questions. And then virtual Ask an Advisor is again on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you can find information about that on the website, but also on Campus Link. So definitely check out the website. Come to us with your questions, anything you need, we're here.
Thanks.
So I think we are going to transition into our Q&A session. Is that correct? Okay, I do see that we did have one question for James or Sarah. It says, do you have to know the exact dates of our travels and when we send the travel notification? And do we have to send the travel notification if we travel for university field trips? So if it's like a university field trip.
Okay. Well, certainly when you fill in the travel signature request e-form, we do ask for your travel plans. You know, when do you think you're leaving? When do you think you're coming back? And so if you're going to leave outside the US, that's when you need a travel signature. So yeah, do please include those dates of travel so we have those on file. If for some reason the dates of travel change, it's okay. That's not a problem. If it's still within a few weeks of traveling, that's okay. But if you're going to be gone the entire semester, that's a whole different situation altogether. And so if you're planning on being gone for the whole semester, let us know. But put in your start date, your departure date, your return date, and if it changes, that's okay. That's fine. If your field work is going to take place outside the U.S., you still need a travel signature, so go ahead and put that in there. But if your field work is taking place inside the U.S., there's no need for a travel signature request.
Thank you, James. And then another question in the chat is, I got on campus as a TA. What do I do next? How do I get a social security number?
Sarah?
Yeah, great question. There's actually going to be a session right after this that I would highly recommend you join. It's going to be with Andrea in our office, who does all of our onboarding procedures. And she's going to walk you through that process. Essentially, there'll be an e-form at Global you'll submit once your department has hired you in the university system. And through that form, you will be virtually onboarded. Generally, how to get a social security number, I think that's a lot of question new students have. The first thing to keep in mind is you're not required to have a social security number unless you are working. So if you don't have a job through something like on-campus employment or through CPT or OPT, you're not actually eligible for a social security number. A lot of times you might see that in applications for different things. Usually there is a workaround, or there's something called an ITIN that you could apply for. But social security numbers, whether you're working on campus through curricular practical training, academic training, if you're a J1 student, we will help you with that process. We'll provide you instructions as well as a letter that you'll take to the Social Security office to get your number. So just keep that in mind. Social security numbers are only if you're working, and however you're getting that work, it always has to go through us. So we will help you with that process.
Okay. And then another question is, where can we find the available on-campus jobs, which might be also for the next session?
Sure, yeah. Andrea in the next session will show you the sites that you can go to look for on-campus jobs. The ones that are being paid by UC, there's one central location for all those through the Human Resources Office at UC. But there's also, if you go to UC International Services, we have an employment section. The employment section talks about everything, on-campus, off-campus, work permits. There's also a link there to other on-campus employers who may not be UC employers. So for example, you'll see that some of our food services on campus, they're private companies, but they're located on campus, and you can certainly work for them because they are considered on-campus employment. And so the links there are to show you where those employers are as well, so you can find how to find those jobs. But Andrea, in the next segment that we do here on this webinar, will go through that in a little bit more detail.
Cool, thank you. And then let's see. Someone has a question. Are there any immigration check-in sessions that we have to attend?
So I think there has been some confusion because our online orientation video that you're linked to and the pre-arrival checklist is a little bit outdated. Those videos take a long time to make, so it's always hard to adjust things. There is no in-person check-in that may have been referenced in that video. As long as you complete the pre-arrival checklist, and please complete the pre-arrival checklist in IBEARCAPS Global, there's 9 steps you need to go through, all 9. If you've done that, we will process your immigration check-in with that checklist. So no in-person immigration check-in. If you are a transfer student, so that means an immigration transfer. So your CVIS record came to us from another school. We do want you to stop in and get a transfer notation on your I-20, but that's a much smaller population. No official immigration check-in, so don't worry about that. Just finish the checklist.
Cool. And then, so are there any international student events on the Blue Ash campus? Janet, do you?
Well, I can answer that question. We don't have any specific events for international students at Blue Ash. it's very difficult for us to do events at the different campuses that UC has. But you're more than welcome to come to any of the events that take place here on campus, or the ones we organize for around the city, or even some of the trips that we will hopefully do later on this year that take you outside the city. Those can be a lot of fun as well. Blue Ash is not that far from the main campus. We're on the shuttle line, and so it's very simple to get back and forth. Right now, the shuttle service is a little skeleton because the classes have not yet begun. But starting on Monday, you'll see a full schedule of shuttle buses going all over the place in this area. And so, if, for example, you want to come to Soccer and Snow Cones on Sunday, which Zoe's hosting here, you can get here, using Uber or a shuttle or anything like that to come to main campus. It's not that far, and we can certainly take care of you and ensure that you have a lot of fun.
Thank you. And then let's see, sorry, losing my place in the chat. Another question is it possible to do professional experience related to our degree on campus or off campus, even though we have a J1 visa?
Yeah, great question. So J1 students are eligible for something called academic training. Typically, that's something you'll complete after you finish your time here at UC. If you're an exchange student, like I know Flora is, that's something you could potentially do after your semester of study. So academic training for J1s is any work that would be off campus. J1 students are eligible to work on campus, just like F1 students. So if there was an experience on campus you wanted to do during fall semester, you would be eligible to do that. You'd onboard through our office like F1 students would. But J1 visas, any work off campus that you do is through something called academic training. I can certainly talk to exchange students about that more. And as well as our degree seeking J1 students, you're also eligible for academic training.
And then another question is, I'm attending UC in person, although some of the classes that I enrolled in are being conducted online. Would that still maintain my visa status? They have 2 courses in person, 2 online, and 1 to be determined.
Okay. So I'll just go back to the magic number here. If you are an undergraduate student, to maintain your immigration status, if this is your first time in the US, if this is the first time in the US and you're starting classes on Monday, undergraduates have to be enrolled for 12 credit hours to maintain their status. Graduate students have to be enrolled for at least 10 credits. Now, only 3 credits of online classes count towards that full-time requirement. And so I don't quite understand the difference between the 2 and the 2 you have here and the 2 over there and the 1 you may be having. But at the end of the day, on Monday, when you are enrolled for classes, as long as you have 12 credits and no more than 3 are being counted towards those 12, likewise for the graduate students at 10, then you're going to be okay. If I'm not clear or if I did not answer your question, please do feel free to send us an email at international.students@uc.edu, and we'll be happy to try to clarify that a little bit more for you.
Thank you. The next question is, when do we start applying for on-campus jobs? So that question you might want to save for the breakout room that will be occurring after this. So any job questions, anything related to on-campus employment, Andrea will be able to answer in the breakout session. So keep that question handy.
Sure.
And then just to clarify for everyone, we've had some questions just about the links. Where will the links for these meetings be located after so that students can rewatch them?
Well, yeah, they should be on our UC International Services website somewhere. So take a look at the site. If you can't find it, email us and we'll send you the link.
Cool. And then another question is, I enrolled for a total of 5 courses, out of which 3 courses are in person, 2 are online. Does this mean I'm a full-time student?
Again, count the credits. And so I'll just say, you can say 3 and 2, but some courses are 1 credit hour and some are 5. And so again, it's, as long as you're enrolled for 12 credit hours in person, 12 credit hours full-time for undergraduates, 10 for graduates. you can use up to 3 credits of online credits to meet that full-time requirement. And so if you are not enrolled for at least 9 credits in person for an undergraduate student and at least 7 credits in person for a graduate student, you have some issues. And so do try to add some additional in-person credits if that's the case.
And then we have a question that says, what if we didn't hear back from health services yet? Is this going to be a problem regarding attending class?
Yeah, I can take that one too. Health services are really swamped. And not only are they dealing with, hundreds and thousands of students, American students as well, trying to come on campus and get health screenings or get their medical records sorted out. There's also this pandemic they're also dealing with as well. All I can do is assure you that this is it. If you've done your pre-arrival checklist and you've submitted the information in the iBearcats global system and you've submitted it to the health services office through that system, and they have sent you an email and they're working on your case, just be patient. It may take them some time to email you. It may take them some time to get you scheduled for your health screening. If your health screening doesn't take place before classes begin, do not panic. We're not going to cancel your classes, but you do need to make sure that you have submitted your information through the system in iBearcats Global to health services. They have it, they'll get to it, and they'll contact you at some point, maybe even next week or the following week to get you scheduled for your health screening. So as long as you've done everything in iBearcats Global, you're going to be okay.
Awesome. Let's see. So there's a question about in-person orientation. So someone missed the in-person orientation on last Monday. And they want to know if there will be another in-person orientation for undergraduate students.
Sarah, are you aware of one?
So there isn't any makeup orientation session that I'm aware of. What's important to know is that orientation session primarily was small group discussions and a campus tour. So obviously a valuable experience, but if you did miss it, there isn't anything super crucial that you need to be worried about. Primarily focus on making sure you're registered. I think most students were meeting virtually with academic advisors over the summer to get registered. If you haven't been registered, that's the thing to worry about, and make sure that you contact your academic department, meet with an advisor in person or virtually, and get scheduled for next week. But if you missed orientation on Monday, a little bit of a bummer, but nothing major that you're going to feel behind on. So don't stress out too much. We know just getting here is amazing. So we're a little more lenient this year on if you missed some of those things.
Thank you. Okay, next question is, how do I go about dental insurance?
Dental insurance. Wow, that's good. No, it's a really great question. I would recommend you contact the Student Health Insurance Office for some options. Their options may be very limited because admittedly dental insurance can be very expensive in the US. But you can definitely check with them. They'll have some options for you to purchase a plan to help cover for some of those situations. If your dental situation is because of an accident or something like that, your health insurance will probably cover that at that point. But if it's just general maintenance and cleaning and all that kind of stuff, you will need separate dental insurance for that particular procedure. So check with Student Health Office. They can probably have some plans available for you to look up and to utilize.
Thank you, James. And then I think the last question that is not like job or Social Security related is, does the pre-arrival checklist count as a check-in for students?
Yes, so that is how you're completing your check-in with us. We're doing everything virtually because we've got that checklist set up. So just make sure you go through step 9 and actually agree and submit step 9. Step 9 is just a link to the orientation video. Watch that, agree to the step and submit it. Once you've got step 9 done, you've completed your check-in with us, and we will get you registered next week and you will be all.
And then another question that just came in, is there any app to check the shuttle schedule around UC? So
Yeah, the apps. Yeah, go ahead, Zoe.
I was going to say you can actually download like the UC mobile app, And on the UC mobile app, it will give you a map that'll show you every shuttle route. And so you can pinpoint where you are and what route would work for you. It'll also tell you too, if you click on it, like how far away the shuttle is or what stop it's at. So it's a really good reference. I will also say too, the iPals did create a scout map. We do have a map that has the shuttle routes of UC on it with some restaurants, coffee shops, anything like that, that you can also take advantage of to find different things around campus.
I'll just jump in there too and say the Scout map is really, really cool. The Scout map was put together by students, and they're pointing out places that they feel are really great places to hang out in. And so it's not something that I've put together. It's something that fellow students have put together because they think you'd be interested in these things as well. And the app for the shuttle service is really cool. I enjoy it because I can see where the shuttle bus is, and I can actually see it moving in real time. And so I can sit there and watch impatiently as it's coming around the corner. And so, yeah, we definitely have those available in apps and also on our website.
Cool, thank you. So another question, does the health insurance work retrospectively if our tuition has not been paid yet?
Yes, you're covered by a certain date. I think it's August 13th.
August 10th, I think.
August 10th. Thanks, Sarah. So yeah, you're covered from August 10th for anything that happened after that date.
Awesome.
I hope whoever asked that is doing okay.
Someone also wants to know what the detailed address for the Social Security office is.
Well, we'll provide that in our instructions. So when you onboard with us or when you apply for a Social Security number through iBearcats Global, part of the materials we give to you is the actual street address and location, and also the schedule for applying for one. They're on a pandemic schedule, so you can't just stop by and see them. You have to go at certain times of the day. Sometimes you have to have an appointment. We figure all that out for you when you apply for, when you go through iBearcats Global using the onboarding e-forms there. And so we'll give you those instructions and that address when you're ready to go down to the Social Security office.
Okay, and then is the best way to join clubs and organizations to contact them through the details on Campus Link? I can just answer that. I would say yes, definitely Campus Link, but I would also say check out Instagram too, Facebook. A lot of these organizations use those to communicate with their members and potential members. But they're also, like Janet mentioned, there will be an organization fair from 5 to 7 p.m. It'll be tomorrow. You can find the information for that on Campus Link as well, but that will have a lot of the registered student organizations, so you can go see the tables, hear what they have to say, and maybe something of interest you can join. So that's a good way. Campus Link has a ton, like hundreds of organizations related to anything, Harry Potter, food, music, and like anything you could think of to join. So definitely check out the Campus Link.
I got a question about health insurance. So this student asks, I haven't received my insurance card yet. Am I still covered? And she has already enrolled in the insurance plan.
I just dropped a link in the chat on instructions on how to get your card through the health services site. So if you click on that, you can get access to your card. And if you have previous billing, you can submit that to the health company. Like James said, from August 10th, if you're going to be enrolled in UC's international or UC's student health insurance plan, you're covered from August 10th onward. So if you click that link in the chat, or even the way I found that, I went to uc.edu, searched student health insurance card, and that's how I found that. So for some reason you can't see the chat right now, it's pretty easy to find that on our webpage, and that'll give you instructions on how to access your ID card.
Just to clarify, the the double map app is for only for UC Shuttle, and also you can access UC Shuttle map through either double map or UC own mobile app. Personally recommend the double app because it works better. But for other transportation in Cincinnati, we go with metros. UC Cincinnati Metro. I think it's called Go Metro, and I just dropped the link over there. I think that's all the questions that we have covered.
Wow,
Anyone?
good.
Anyone got any last minute question? If not, I'll put the session link for the on-campus session in the chat, and you can go over there. Andrea, our onboarding advisor, will be meeting you there.
All right.
And if you have any other questions, feel free to stay here. If not, yes, as Sarah said, you can email us. You can hop over to the other chat, or you can hang out with us here. We'll try to answer as many questions that you have.
Luis, did you have a question?
If you want, you can also unmute yourself and ask right away.
So sorry, I might be late to the party, but did I hear you saying there was an in-person meeting right now on campus?
So it's actually online. It's a virtual meeting about employment and anything job related. And there is a link that Janet has dropped in the chat, a WebEx link that you're welcome to use to join that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I thought there was something else, but that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, do we think we're good then?
Oh, we have another question.
Okay.
My UC Health account is still not active yet, so I can't access the University Health Services. How do I view my COVID test result?
Well, I would definitely, if you can, give a call or send an email to the student health office. They're going to take some time to respond to you, but definitely send them an email to, and I think Sarah just dropped that in the chat there, to find out what they can do to help you get that activated.
You may also have like a student worker, a part of the COVID response team, or like the COVID check team that may have reached out to you via email. So I would definitely check your email to see if a student has reached out to you to answer any of those questions related to that as well. Cool. Well, if there are no other questions, okay, so they have replied to the email. They haven't responded in 2 days and the voicemail is full.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're in a really, really tight, busy environment right now. But they'll get back to you.
For sure. And then Olivia, to answer your question, Blue Ash students can join organizations on main campus. You are welcome to join any of the organizations. Cool.
Manuel, you are welcome to unmute yourself to ask your question if you want to ask about the courses and credits hours.
Yeah, okay. So I'm only taking, I'm taking 18 credit hours, but most of them, they're only giving it as online and asking pronouns. So you guys kind of confused me with that I can only take 3 credit hours.
Sure. I apologize. It can be very confusing. Are you a new student starting this fall, or are you someone who's been in the US for a while and now coming to UC?
I'm a new student to UC graduate.
Okay. And so how many of your credits are going to be in person or partially distanced?
I think 6 or 8.
6. So 6 credits are in person. Is that correct?
1 second.
Okay. Take your time.
8 credits,
You have
but
8.
6 in the first half and 2 on the second half.
Okay, but total in the fall semester, you have 8 credits in person?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to need at least one more. Are you a graduate or undergraduate?
Graduate.
Graduate. Oh, okay. So we're good. So as long as you have at least 7 credits in person at the graduate level, you are fine. And so you're okay. You can take as many as you want now, online credits.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
There's a question about a student who came to US 2 years ago, and she's a transfer student.
Okay.
Do they still have to get tested for COVID-19? They are fascinated.
They are fascinated. Have they traveled overseas recently? They may not be around anymore. No, okay.
Is that now?
No, my understanding is you don't have to be tested at this point because you haven't been overseas. I hopefully you've got the vaccination, the vaccine, but you shouldn't have to be tested.
Thank you. Ahmed, if you're international on F1 visa, you're allowed to join any professional, volunteer, or ambassador group, and that Google developed per group UC chapter. You're welcome to join that. I think that's a new organization this year, started by one of our IPELs.
So yeah, volunteer work as an F1 or J1 student is fine. If it's unpaid, you're not replacing a paid position. It's just something you're interested in and you want to volunteer to help out. That is something you're allowed to do without work authorization as long as it's unpaid.
Another question, if you have been in the US for multiple years, is the rule about the 7 credit in-person minimum still required?
Well, here's what I need to ask. If you were here in the US taking classes, you've been active, and you're now transferring to UC, the transfer rules are a little different right now because of the pandemic. You don't have to be totally enrolled in in-person classes unless your department is offering in-person classes. And so it's a little bit more of a complicated answer. If your department is not offering a typical in-person schedule because of the pandemic, and you can only enroll for online classes, that is fine. But if your college or your department are going back to a predominantly pre-pandemic schedule, you do need to be enrolled in person classes.
So basically, half of my program is supposed to be kind of like partially in person, kind of like online. But they told us that we only need a few classes as in person. So I was just wondering, like what would be the situation, because I did my undergrad here in the States and now I'm doing my grads.
Sure.
bachelor here.
Were you in your undergraduate last spring?
I was not, I was in OPT.
Oh, you were an OPT. Okay, same thing. You were in status, in F1 status here in the US last spring. Okay. So what department are you with?
Mechanical engineering.
All right, yes. Now they're offering, yeah, for your particular situation, engineering is offering, virtual classes, some of their classes virtually, some of their classes in person. That would be an example of a college that has not gone back to a pre-pandemic in-person schedule. And so whatever schedule they are offering you, and because you are a transfer student coming in, transferring your CVIS record from OPT to UC, you can follow along with the schedule that they're offering you, no matter how much of that is virtual or online.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I think Janet is busy working on something else, so I can go ahead and just
Sure.
say the next question, but it is, what is the minimum number of students to not close a course? I am enrolled in a class of 10 students. I'm a little confused on the question, if you want to clarify.
It's okay, I understand it. So some departments and some professors and some courses must have a minimum number of students to reach in order for the class to take place. And so it's sort of like, bidding on something online through eBay. You have to meet the minimum. Otherwise, it's just not for sale. So the course may have a minimum saying we must have at least 10 students in the course. Otherwise, we're going to cancel the course. That really all comes down to the department, to the professor. That should be noted on when you register for classes, there should be not countdown, but some kind of asterisks and what have you in there. If you're concerned that the course you've enrolled for is under those conditions, or you've heard from someone that your particular course may be in that situation, send your academic advisor an email to double check that. Also check with the department who's offering the course to find out how sure are we that this course is going to go ahead, because the last thing you want to do is to try to find another course at the last minute. But that is a possibility. But check with your academic advisor and the program that's offering the course to find out what the rules are and how likely this course is going to happen. That's not typical of courses here at UC, but sometimes there are minimums that you have to maintain.
I can answer one of the questions. I think I've caught all the questions in the chat, but just so that everyone can hear. So a campus SIM card, we have those in our office in 7148 Edwards Center 1. You can come pick up a campus SIM card for your phone. They don't work for every phone, but you're welcome to come and try. We have those in a decent amount in our office if you want to come get those. Your student ID card, you can get it in two ways from what I understand. You can upload a picture to their website. And once I can find that link, I'll drop it in the chat. And then they'll notify you when your card is ready. Basically, they need to review the photo first to make sure that it works. Or you can go to Edwards Center 4, which is close to our office, and get your card, get your photo taken there and pick the card up there. I believe they have a tent set up outside the office to help with social distancing. So look for the tent, Edwards Center 4. And then someone did ask about summer internships. Likely that would be through curricular practical training or CPT if you're an F1 student. So I would go to our website or log into IBERCATS Global and look at that. If it's not until next summer, if you're here for 30 weeks of in-person study, you will be eligible for that, but not something that you'll need to worry about applying for until closer to the end of spring semester. And then to Baruch, I answered your question in the chat. If you were noted as needing second doses, or maybe there's some immunization you need to complete, Sounds like you've already reached out to health services. Like we've said probably 100 times now, they're just super backed up. The COVID stuff makes everything super hard for their office. I would say you probably won't need a whole nother second health screening, but you'll probably just need to submit that documentation at some point. I know I actually had to do that when I took a class. I was missing some immunizations. So you'll upload it to MedProctor once you get that. If you've reached out to them, probably after the rush of the start of fall semester, they'll get back to you. So just be patient, but if you've done your health screening at this point, don't panic too much. You're further along than a lot of other students, so don't worry, they'll be in touch. Yeah, and thank Milani. I think she just dropped the links in the chat about how to get your Bearcat card. And I think that might be all the questions. And certainly if you want to join the on-campus webinar, we'd want you to hop over to there now because they're probably starting. So I think we're probably getting close to close, Janet.
Yep, I think so. So if you have any other questions, you can always email us or find us at our office. I dropped that one last time. And this session is recorded and will be posted on our website and emailed to you through our weekly newsletter or your easy inbox. But for now, I think we're good to end this meeting. Thank you everyone for attending and thank you for your participation.
Yes, thank you. We're so happy that you're here.
Have a nice rest of your week and make sure you check out campus events and art fair tomorrow. And we are on campus with our soccer and snow cones event this Sunday too. We hope to see you there.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.